Hey everybody, Dimitri here, and I just wanted to share some feedback on this Leatt 8.5 helmet that I've been using for the last 15 months or so. So if you are interested in a long-term review of the Leatt 8.5 and to some extent 9.5 helmets, because they're pretty similar, keep watching. So I've been using this helmet for the last 15 months or so, and I've put about 200 engine hours on this helmet, so realistically I've probably been wearing it for close to 400 hours, and I've been using it for everything from dual sport riding to hard enduro, regular enduro, hare scrambles, that kind of thing. And just to summarize, I've been very happy with it, and when I need to buy another helmet, this helmet is going to be on my short list. So I'll just go through a number of different things here. I'll go through safety, weight, comfort, ventilation, looks, and durability, and then I'll also talk about some of the pros and cons of this helmet. Alright, so first let's talk about the safety, and this was actually the big selling point of this helmet for me personally. This is one of the only helmets that comes with a dedicated concussion prevention system. So without going into it too deeply, it's got these little elastomer type of things. It's a pretty similar system that you would see on the fly helmets. 6D was probably the ones that pioneered it. And essentially it's just an additional layer of impact protection. So these things are really soft. They move in different directions. They act kind of as a MIPS layer as well, so for rotational impact prevention. But what I really like about this whole thing is that it's softer than the EPS. So you're not relying on the EPS for all the impact absorption, but this little layer here, these little elastomers, they actually absorb the low impacts, like the really mild hits on branches, or maybe you have a little tumble and hit your head. Things that happen pretty frequently when you're riding off-road. You don't want to rely on EPS for that, because EPS will only start compressing in a very serious impact, because it's designed to prevent your skull from fracturing, essentially, or from you getting some kind of catastrophic brain damage. And it can either do that, or it can absorb the small impacts. It can't do both at once. So that's why having this additional layer is really important. It acts kind of like an addition to the multi-density EPS. And I've personally noticed the significant reduction, or really non-existence, of headaches after I take a hit from a branch or something smacks my head. In other helmets, I would get a headache for the rest of the day, which is one of the things that first led me to switch to a 6D helmet. And then after I broke my Climb Cryos helmet, which was not Cryos, Climb F5 helmet, which was a great helmet, by the way. But after I broke that one, I decided to go with the Leatt, and I've been very happy with this additional layer of protection. So I think from a safety perspective, this is definitely one of the safest helmets out there. It's also rated to ECE 22.06, which is the newest ECE standard, which includes some new tests for rotational impacts and such. So this is definitely one of the safest helmets on the market. So from a shell construction perspective, this is a composite shell. So I think it's like Kevlar or something composite. It's not carbon fiber. The 9.5 is carbon fiber, and the 9.5 is a little bit lighter. But something that Leatt does is they actually publish the test data for all of their helmets. So you can go and you can actually compare the carbon fiber one to this one and make your own decisions. But for me, I actually decided that the composite one was a better choice for me. All right, so I'll move into comfort because it also kind of relates to these little elastomers in there. I have a large helmet head, and this size large fits me perfectly. So I wear a size large in pretty much every helmet except the Climb Cryos, which are just sized weird. And this fits me perfectly. The little additional squishy layer here, it actually makes this helmet fit really well. It is super comfortable. It's got a lot of padding, and in general I find this helmet to be really all day comfortable. So I'm very happy with the comfort of it. But obviously everybody's head is different, so comfort is a very individual thing that you kind of have to try a helmet on and decide if it's comfortable for you. So another comfort related thing that I want to mention is the overall shape of this helmet. It is a little bit shorter, so the nose piece is a tiny little bit shorter than what you'd see on some of the other helmets, and that I'll get to the looks later, but that makes it look a certain way. I think it probably makes it a little bit safer because you don't have as much rotational force onto your neck if you do have a hit on the front of the helmet. But you do notice that the chin piece is a little bit closer to your face. It's not really a significant amount, like it's not like wearing a street helmet, but it is a little bit closer. And I will move right along onto ventilation because it relates to this chin piece. Something that I immediately noticed when I started wearing this helmet, coming from a Climb F5, is that the ventilation in the top part of the helmet is not as good as the Climb F5, but the ventilation through this really big vent up front here is fantastic. You actually kind of feel, especially if you're moving at any speed at all, you feel like you're wearing an open face helmet. There's so much airflow coming through the front of the helmet onto your face. It is amazing. So the top part doesn't ventilate that much, so the top of your head can get kind of sweaty, but the front of the helmet ventilates really well. You can feel like you can breathe really well, and it's just, I'm very happy with how well this big chin piece vents. So on weight, that's obviously another critical aspect. This is not the absolute lightest helmet, but it is very light. So it's not as light as a Climb Cryos, or like an Aero, but it's lighter than pretty much everything else. So there's no issues that I have with the weight of this helmet. It is a very light helmet. So looks are obviously a little bit subjective, but the way this helmet looks, it is a little bit more round than some of the European helmets and some of the like Climb helmets that are a little bit narrower. And for my already kind of fat and round head, it definitely makes my head look a little bit more round, especially I think with this color scheme, because it's got this kind of white surrounding your face. I feel like it makes my head look extra round. I'm honestly not a huge fan of the way this helmet looks. I definitely prefer the look of like a Climb or something like an Aero or one of the more Euro styled helmets. But again, it's a subjective thing, and you may love it, and different color schemes also look differently good. So it's kind of up to you. That's just my opinion. Okay, so as far as durability, like I said, I have about 200 engine hours, probably about 400 hours of wearing this helmet. So that's a good amount of hours. I've definitely put it through the ringer. So I'll talk about the interior durability first. The interior has been very durable. I've washed it dozens of times, and I just put it in a little laundry bag and put it in a washing machine, so I'm not exactly careful with it. It's been very durable. Nothing has really ripped. There's some pieces that have started ripping a little bit, but it's not really a big deal, mostly on these, and I think it's mostly from me just taking them on and off. But overall, it's been very durable inside, and I do have a spare interior because I figured I might need one, and Leatt does sell them, so that's good. The shell has been also very durable. I did break this visor is kind of a quick release system, which I actually really like. you don't have to mess with any kind of stuff. It just snaps off if you want to remove it. But I did break the little snap up here, which doesn't really affect anything. It still works just fine. And you can buy spare visors, but you can't necessarily buy them in the color that you have, because once they discontinue the color, you can't buy the visor for the old color anymore. So it's just something to keep in mind. What has not been durable is the paint on this helmet. I'm pretty rough on helmets. You can see it looks like this has skidded along some gravel. It hasn't. It's just hit a bunch of branches. And this finish on the top of the helmet's kind of a matte finish, and this started looking kind of dingy pretty quickly. Like, you can see the sticker is still fine, but this finish has been coming off. And the same thing on the glossy finish on the front of the helmet here. So I don't think I even hit the ground with the front of the helmet. This is just from things like roost and such. So the paint work is not the most durable on this helmet. There's a couple other spots where you can see on the back. So there's no reason for that to be like that. So I've been not super impressed with the finish, and maybe it's better on the newer helmets. I bought this one as a discontinued colorway on sale from Leatt.com. So maybe the newer ones are better. I'm not sure, but that's just been my experience. So aside from the finish, everything has been very durable. I haven't seen any corrosion issues or anything like that. Shell, interior protection stuff has been top notch. So I've been happy with it, and I'll continue using this helmet. Okay, just to summarize everything in pros and cons. The pros: one of the safest helmets on the market, very comfortable, light, breathes well, especially through this big chin bar vent. And I think it's generally a great value, and it's also been pretty damn durable. And the cons: I don't think it's the best looking helmet, and also the durability of the finish has not been fantastic. Other than that, I'm very happy with it. I would 100% recommend it, and I will very likely be buying another one of these very soon. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about the Leatt 8.5 helmet, definitely leave a comment. If you would like me to address any additional things in my reviews, definitely leave a comment. If you have any other opinions about these helmets, definitely leave a comment. And I hope to see you all on the trails.